2012 Sierra Nevada World Music Festival. Perfect Giddimani.
Give thanks. Greetings.
Thank you so much for being with us.
It's a pleasure.
For performing with us, for performing for us, and taking the time out to let us bug you and ask you a few questions.
No problem at all.
This will be put up on the web for future generations and attendees of this festival to learn more about what happened this year. You want to introduce yourself and say something about your experience this weekend?
Yeah, well, this has been an experience that definitely is going to be unforgettable to come. You know, I mean, it's like no other festival that I've ever been. You know, in terms of the different people that I'm seeing from different races and the faces and, you know, the smiles and the expressions and the laughter and the happiness and the jumps and the screams, and, you know, it's just a really overwhelming festival for reggae music, you know. And I've always heard about Sierra Nevada, and, you know, it's really a place to check out, trust me. Definitely.
So you're ready to come back next year?
Of course. Sure.
Big stage next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
20th anniversary. We'll see you back on the big stage.
Yeah, well, hopefully, you know, if God spares life, you know, Rastafari.
So you're traveling with the Iconic Band and Romain. There's a number of dates that have you traveling with them.
Yeah, we have got a couple of gigs lined up here out, you know, in California. So it's gonna be Romain Virgo, Perfect Giddimani, and the Iconic Band together on the road. We have a couple of stops to make, so yeah, that's the band right now that is back in the tour. Definitely.
What's coming next for you in terms of music that you're releasing? What should we be looking out for?
Well, probably I should hold it as a secret. But all I can say is that I'm doing good music. Yeah, but in terms of producers, you know, or labels, you know, I'm not really quite sure who will be the next producer for the next project, you know, regarding an album. But, you know, I keep on voicing singles for different producers across the world, you know, from time to time. Definitely.
Is there anyone here with questions?
Yeah. I have a question.
Ah, blaze it up, man. That's why we're here.
Yes, sir.
And the music.
Yeah, man. Now they're in California, you know.
How do you? What can you say about your experience here at Sierra Nevada and Northern California, compared to other venues and cities that you tour? The vibrations and then.
Well, you know what makes it so special about this festival is that, you know, the herb is so free and everyone is just so free with the herb, and, you know, the herb brings forth that unity and that joy, and, you know, helps to keep the people meditating on what is going on right now, because we're having a musical event, you know. We don't want nobody to be quarreling or arguing or fighting, you know. So the herbs really just bring a different joy to this festival, you know. It's like no other, you know. So the herbs make it like icing on cake, so to speak. Yes. You know. Definitely.
Yeah, good afternoon, Perfect. My name is Brother Leonard from KPOO in San Francisco, representing Prison Focus Radio.
Right, bless
Now,
that.
as you know that in the US, we have only 5% of the world population, but yet we incarcerate 25% of the total prisoners of the world.
Right.
We have in California overcrowdedness in prisons and all of those negative things that oppress, in particularly African American and Latino people.
Right.
The question of drug abuse and the question of legalization of marijuana that you mentioned, even when you look at the consumption in terms of the population, you will see that out of that population, a certain population use more of that substance, but yet in prison. So what I want to say is that we still have a long battle to go in California.
Right.
And you, with your social commentary, you really made an impression. Give thanks for the show of last night.
Rastafari.
As a young artist, full of energy, you have a very, very wise mind in terms of expressing your lyrics. and then also engaging and participating in the people in front
Give
of you.
thanks.
When
Give
I look
thanks.
at you, I get a true sense of your connection with the people and your connection with the music flowing through you
Right.
into bringing a message to us.
Yes.
So I want to know where the name Perfect is fitting into all of this.
Yeah, well, the name Perfect, first of all, you know, the name Perfect is a name that was, it's a self-given name. Yeah, and it's not a name, I don't use the name to create no hype nor animosity. You know, the name is just to, reminds me to do it properly, to the best of my ability. So, you know, the name, I use the name Perfect to help to motivate me. You know what I'm saying? So each time I'm going on the stage and the MC says, next on stage Perfect, it just reminds me that, look, you have to go out there and give them a good show. Do it properly. So the name Perfect is just a reminder to do it properly.
Give thanks
To
for
motivate me, eh?
that. Give thanks for that motivation, Aya.
Yeah, man.
I know that I live in St. Anne's Bay area.
Yes,
where
originally.
where Mali operated too. You know?
Right, Mali.
And where brethren like Wayne and yourself have as risen as youth. And then there is some areas in Jamaica and some individuals in Jamaica, like artists like Busy Signal, Buju, and those people that are in conflict with the law.
Yeah.
And that is maybe currently, you know, how is it then in Jamaica that youth are having this particular struggle, bearing in mind the competition and the toughness and the lack of resources that Jamaica have? You know, how is it that youth like you and Wayne and those people, how do you develop your own understanding so that you do not fall trapped into some of those negative things?
Yeah, well, it's all about a thing called self-awareness. You know, you have to be aware about what you're doing, you know, because you know that action is reaction. So, you know, as a youth coming up, you know, we know wrong from right, you know, and we just embrace the good values that we were taught over the years by our mother and father, you know, and we just exercise those values globally whenever we are on the road out here in California or in Europe or when we are in Jamaica. So, you know, it's all about being self-conscious and you know, being self-disciplined and being focused, not to get trapped by the system.
Give thanks, Aya.
Rastafari.
Aya, can you talk a little bit about some of the sounds on Journey of 1,000 Miles? If I, as a DJ, wanted to play some music for people, which are the first 2 or 3 sounds that you would suggest that I play to a prison audience?
Title, Journey of 1,000 Miles, yes. Mama Africa. And you know, definitely we're in California, so I could never leave out My Chronic. So it's a beautiful album all over, you know, you just gotta check it out. But you know, those are the first 3 songs I would suggest.
Yeah, man. Give thanks. The last question before I hand over: how many singles did the man produce in the last 2-3 years, per week or per day or per month?
To be honest with you, I could never give you an exact count.
At least 400.
A week.
You know, well, I do a lot of voicing, you know, so it adds up. That's all I can say. It's a lot.
Yes, Emmanuel I Selassie.
Rastafari.
Yes,
I
man.
love him.
Brethren, I saw your show last night. My name is Jabriz, and
Yes, Jabriz.
I saw your show last night, and I was really impressed with the way in which you give credit to all the other artists that's been bringing this music forward. Buju Banton,
Right.
all of them, and you put it in a song, and you put it in the lyrics, and it was rhythmically, it was very, very creative.
Right.
I love how you do that. What kind of influence did these ayahs had on your life?
Yeah, well, you know, coming up in the 90s in Jamaica, Buju Banton was the artist that was played a lot in people's household, and he was very popular. And you know, I grew up during that time is when you start getting out of the house, you know, you start going to dance and little parties, so you know, you get interested in the music. And Buju Banton, with the type of lyrics that Buju Banton came out with, and his vocals and his style and his charisma and his delivery, it was really awesome, you know. And he was really an artist who inspired me to some level, you know. So musically, I've been influenced by a whole bunch of different artists over the years. Definitely Buju Banton is one. So, you know, we definitely have to embrace his words and his music, yeah?
The other thing that impressed me is that you travel with your family, your little princess here, and you know the empress, and you travel with your family. And when you're on stage, you really represent Rastafari to the fullest. You're not an object where women are pulling on you or that kind of stuff. How do you maintain that kind of vibe? Because once you get on stage, people lose concept of who you are, and they just think you're some toy. And the artists play into it because they want to sell music. How do you feel about your role representing the firmness of Rastafari, especially Bobo Shanti?
Yeah, well, first of all, you know, it's just a principle, you know. And whenever you're out on the road, you're not just representing for that moment, but you're also representing for the future. You're representing for your family, likewise the fans that you're performing for during that moment, you know. So I mean, sometimes on stage, you know, people tend to probably want to get out of control, you know, and create a frenzy, you know. You just have to know how to calm it down professionally. Right. You're not going to disrespect a fan by pushing away their hand, or right. You know what I'm saying? But just a face gesture or a hand gesture or something just can let them know, look, take it easy. Yeah. I'm performing, right. You know? Right. And back to my family now, you know, it's important, especially for my daughter, to see what dad does. You know, it doesn't make sense every time when I get off tour and she's like, Daddy, where were you? And I was touring, I was singing. It's still something that she believes. But when I bring her to a festival like Syria Nevada, where she actually see me performing on stage, she knows that it's true for real. That is what Daddy does, you know, and this is my profession. This is what helps to sustain the family, you know, financially speaking. So it's good for her to see. It's good for her to see what the stage show is about, what an interview is about, what selling CDs is about, what the fans are about, what signing an autograph is about. So, you know, she can feel happy about what her dad is doing. Definitely.
Yeah, give thanks. You came to my attention with Handcart Boy, and I know for a lot of people that's what, you know, but you had so much more conscious lyrics and reality to bring forward. How did you first got introduced to Rastafari?
I got introduced to Rastafari by members from the Rastafarian community that lived in the same community which I grew up. You know, there is a little section that's called Hazelwood. It's the community is Bamboo, but Hazelwood is where you have a community of Rastafarian. So each time after coming home from school in the afternoon, I used to go up to that section of the community and sit with the brethren, and you know, that is where I was introduced to Rastafari, because, you know, sitting there with the brethren, you know, I was hearing different stuff. I was seeing them eating different stuff. You know, their thoughts and their ideas and their concepts were a lot different from what I was taught over the years. So, you know, that is how I got introduced to Rastafari, through brethren of the faith in my community.
Now, to the step over to Baba, did men like Capleton and Sizzler?
No, Baba Shanti was in my community.
Oh, okay, that was in your community. Yes. From jump.
You have an elder Baba called Baba Samuel.
Okay.
That was in I&I community.
Okay.
So, you know, majority of the Rastafarians in the Hazelwood community that I'm talking about is from the Bobo Shanti movements.
Give thanks. So for people that maybe not understanding that sect, can you give them a breakdown of what that is compared to, Bobo Shanti, compared to 12th Tribe, compared to, can you break it down? I mean, I know we're all the same.
Well, firstly, I'm going to start out by saying that firstly, we are all the same, But Bobo Shanti, we are the priesthood order of Rastafari, We read the Psalms, we wear the turban, we wear the robe, we pray for the world every morning, 6 o'clock, So, it's Rastafari the same way, but it's the priesthood order of the movement of Rastafari.
Give thanks for that clarity. Yeah, for that clarity.
Listen.
Any more questions? Yeah.
Yes.
I want to find out from this young lady here. First of all, what's your name?
Giddimani.
Giddimani. So can you put the camera this way? Giddimani, you travel around with your dad and your mom and get to see all the fun and excitement that we're doing. How do you like that?
I'm fine.
Do you find it exciting?
Yes.
Yes, wow, that's really good. So you've been enjoying yourself here at Sierra Nevada?
Yes.
Good. So we're happy you're here. Thank you so much for coming. And I hope you come back and see us again, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
That was awesome.
Yes,
Thanks, Giddimani.
Yeah, money, life.
I got one last question. You did really good. If you were to be able to insert 5 artists, 5 newer, or maybe not new, but artists that the world needs more of. If you could put 5 artists into the iPod of the world, who would those 5 artists be?
We'll start off with Perfect.
Mr. Perfect.
That's the first one, definitely.
Yeah, what?
And Lutan Fire as an artist, I'm a respect to the maximum, Apart from being an artist, it also feels good to be a fan of an artist too. You understand what I'm saying? Jamaican, definitely. I listen to a lot of Jamaican music, yeah? And I love Sade. Listen more Sade. Yeah? And last but not least, a little bit more Bob Marley definitely won't hurt, yeah?
And then one last top 5 ganja tunes, any genre, your pick.
My top 5 ganja songs. We start off with I Smoke a Spliff. Perfect. Lick the Chalwa. Jamaican. And then Excuse Me While I Light It. Bob Marley. Then we have No Cigarette Smoking in My Room. And then last but not least, Blaze Up the Chalwa. Sizzla Kolanchi, yeah? Yeah, man.
Yes. What about Marijuana Was Say by Perfect? Can you give us a little of that?
Marijuana we say for life. I'm a ganja man, damn well, that's right. L.I. a marijuana me say for life. Show your ganja and come on, that's right. Whoa, I keep on smoking nothing strictly, but the best I got pounds of marijuana coming strictly from the west. I got the
Yes, I. Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Okay. One more question, and then we'll.
Thank you, Mr. Perfect. Let me just say Happy Father's Day to you. A little late.
Man, give thanks.
You have a beautiful family, and thank you for blessing us this year with your presence.
Yeah, man.
We hope
Likewise,
to see you again.
Thanks
and going on that, what do you have to say to the youths? There's not much music toward these, the young people of today that represent what you're trying to do. They have a lot of pop music and MTV and things like that.
Right.
what can you say to the youths, and what do you look to do to bring the message to those people and then the young people that really need to hear your message?
Yeah, well, we just have to keep on embracing the music and doing good songs as the artist, and then over that period of time, the people will catch on. We just have to just find ways and avenues how to introduce our music to them, because there's so much going on out there in the world right now. You go on iTunes, you can surf through a whole bunch of different genres, so we just have to do it properly. Example, here at Sierra Nevada, make sure you give a good performance. So that means even if there was somebody in the crowd that wasn't your fan, at the end of the show, automatically they're going to be checking you out on the internet, and they're going to become a fan in probably 10 to 5 minutes. So it's just good to keep on doing good songs, keep on giving the good performances, keep on doing good interviews like what I'm doing right now, and spreading the message globally, and reaching out to the youths, because the youths, they are the leaders of the future. So we have to protect them properly, teach them properly.
Yes, I.
Rastafari.
Thank you, Perfect, for portraying that message to the youth.
Yes, sir.
Here at the
hold
19th
up.
annual Sierra Nevada Music Festival.
One second. Last question. These artists are here. They're promoting their own stuff. Could you tell us about the papers that you got promoted and the merchandise that you got going on? Yeah.
Well, this is Perfect.
Your
papers.
website and you
right
everything.
Here, yeah. And I'm such a huge fan of marijuana. So I decided that
10 pound of ganja.
Yeah, I decided that I had to do something for marijuana. So, this is Perfect Papers, and it's really an interesting pack of papers, because it comes along with the tips right here. We can actually put the tips in the end of it, and then it has 32 tasty sheets for you to roll your Mary Jane into. Yeah? Pardon me?
Good for a day for you?
If it's good for what?
A day?
Good for a day? I don't understand that.
32 papers?
32 papers. Oh, if that's good for a day? Probably half a day.
All right, we give thanks for Perfect. Can you give him a big round of applause, please? Yes, I. Mr.
Yes,
Perfect, Kodamawi, I. Selassie. I.
Give thanks, brothers and sisters. Give thanks for inviting me to the press conference, and give thanks again to the supporters and the fans and the promotion team who made this possible. Sierra Nevada.
Yes, 19th annual Sierra Nevada World Music Festival. We look forward to seeing Mr. Perfect once again here to bless our stage.
Yeah, man,
Thank you so much.
Yes, Jacques.